welcome to the second lecture for Unit 3. We're going to continue with Unit 3 and look at the speaking activities and the grammar activities. All right, first off, we're going to start with a speaking activity. If you have a partner, that's great. If you're at home, you can take on both roles. If you don't have a partner, we're going to be talking about two people in this activity. In your textbook, you can see both of them at the bottom of page 22. Okay, we're going to be talking about Minho, and we're going to talk about Shelley. Okay, all right. So we're going to be talking about them and the eating habits that they have. Okay, we're going to be looking at food that they eat in the morning, afternoon, the evening, and at nighttime. So 4 different types or times of day. Now you're going to talk about each of them. Hopefully you can identify the foods. I think this should be pretty easy. If you cannot, if you have the ebook, you can just press on one of the Han symbols and it'll give you a translation for the adverb of frequency written at the bottom. Okay. Right. Okay. So if you don't know the name of the word or the picture, then you're on your own. Okay. But each time we have a list of food or some pictures of food that each person eats at that time of the day, and we're given a adverb of frequency, or again an adverbial phrase. This reverts back to the language we looked at last week in Unit 2. We were looking at how often responses and answers and adverbs of frequency. Okay. So for each person, you're given a different time and maybe 2 types of food that he eats or doesn't eat. Okay. So the first example is Minho. So it says here, Minho usually eats rice and soup in the morning. Okay. So it's the morning, there's Minho, and he usually eats what? Rice and soup. Okay, let's get some tunjang there. He hardly ever eats eggs and toast. So hardly ever. So he seldom eats eggs and toast. Okay. So that's one partner is going to read that out using these pictures and these adverbs of frequency. You're going to talk about what Minho has in the morning. The other partner can respond. That, so that, meaning this diet, seems healthy. Yeah, I don't exactly know, but it looks healthy. It appears to be healthy. I think it is healthy. Or maybe you think it seems unhealthy. So you have to choose one of these 2 different adjectives to describe Minho's morning eating habits. Okay, and you can do the same for Minho in the afternoon, and as well Minho in the evening and at night. And also for Shelley at the same times of day. You can talk about her eating habits. Okay. So again, one partner can describe it, the other person can comment on it. Go through it once and switch. If you're on your own, you can read the first sentence, A, and then make the comment in B, your own opinion. And when you're finished, we'll do a quick review. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. All right, we're back. Now the example talks about Minho in the morning. Let's talk about Shelley in the morning. Okay, talking about her breakfast. So what about Shelley? Well, Shelley often has cereal and fruit in the morning. Once a week, she eats muffins. Chocolate chip muffins. Okay. That seems healthy. Or that seems unhealthy. All right, let's go down to afternoon. We're going to talk about Minho. Minho often eats hamburgers in the afternoon. About twice a week, he eats pizza. That seems unhealthy, especially all that fast food. What about Shelley? Shelley usually has a Greek salad in the afternoon. She sometimes has a sandwich. That seems healthy. And in the evening, Minho almost always has roasted chicken and vegetables. He sometimes has sushi. That seems healthy. Good thing it's not fried chicken. Might be a bit unhealthy. I think the vegetables and roasted chicken, healthy. And fish must be good for your health. I'm going to find out about Shelley. Shelley has steak and French fries 3 times a week. She rarely eats pizza. That seems unhealthy. Okay. I'm not sure she needs that much protein 3 times a week. That seems a bit much, and especially the French fries. That seems unhealthy. I don't know. Maybe she has a lot of energy. Now, what about at night? Okay, so they had an evening meal. What about at night? Okay. Minho seldom eats chips. Okay, so he seldom eats potato chips at night. That seems healthy. Okay, eating potato chips is not healthy, but eating them or seldom eating them at night is maybe the second best decision. And Shelley always drinks water at night. Okay? That seems healthy. Okay? A good glass of water. Okay. So again, you can construct these sentences and you can comment on them and see how you do. Okay. All right. Let's go to the self-practice. What we're going to do here is you're going to take a moment to do some writing. You're going to write about your own home. Okay? You're going to talk about what is going on at home and what is going on in your refrigerator. Okay? So what you're going to do is think of your refrigerator and think about the contents inside. If your refrigerator is empty, you can use this busy picture here. So for example, there are some apples. On the picture I only see one. But again, your home refrigerator might be different from this picture. Okay, so maybe in your refrigerator there are some apples. What's this one? There isn't any soda. There isn't any soda pop. There isn't any cola or cider. Okay, so just take a moment and write down the contents of your refrigerator at home. Maybe you are at home. You could maybe walk across the room and check and see what is inside your refrigerator. Okay? Make sure that your count nouns are used appropriately, especially when you're using words like many and much, or a few and a little. Okay? And I think you can use a phrase like this for negatives. Okay. All right. So write those down. We'll come back. We'll review. Okay, so there isn't much to review here. If this was my fridge, I would probably say something like, there isn't any milk. I have a few apples, or maybe I have 2 apples, 2 or 3 apples. I have a lot of eggs. I have lots of onions, or a lot of onions. So there might be many different ways to write about the contents of your fridge. I have a lot of yogurt, or I have many containers of yogurt. Okay. So there's many different ways to describe your fridge. What we're going to do is we're going to do the practice activity in the ebook, and we're going to use the answers from the pull-down menu and see how we do. Okay. Now, you don't need to refer to this picture to do this activity. Just choose the correct word in the following sentences. So you have choice. You're given 2 choices with each pull-down menu. Look at the first one. There isn't blank soda in the refrigerator. The pull-down menu, you're given 2 choices. There isn't some soda in the refrigerator. There isn't any. Okay, so we're going to choose this one. So that's the lexical phrase. Are there any soda cans in the refrigerator? No, there aren't any soda cans in the refrigerator. There are not any soda cans in the refrigerator. Okay? Or there isn't any soda in the refrigerator. So whether it is not or are not, we can use any to describe a negative. 2, there are blank strawberries in the refrigerator. So strawberries is a count noun. Many, much, okay, we use many with count nouns. Okay. Milk is a non-count noun. So there is milk in the refrigerator. Any? Some? Okay, there's some milk in the refrigerator. Is there any milk in the refrigerator? Yes, there is some milk in the refrigerator. Okay, so you're using any in the question, and for a positive statement, some. If the answer was no, there isn't any milk in the refrigerator. 4, there are blank avocados in the refrigerator. So we've got a count noun, a few, a little. We'll say a few. So a little would be with an amount, like milk or water. But we've got a count noun, avocados. I don't know how many avocados. I can't see any in the picture. I guess that's why we don't need it. 5, there is water in the refrigerator. How much? A few? A little? There might be a few bottles of water, but we're not talking about the containers. We're talking about water itself. There is a little water in the refrigerator. And 6, there are potatoes in the refrigerator. Potatoes? Some potatoes? Okay, so you wouldn't use the singular with the plural here. So this indefinite article would need singular form. Good. Perfect. So that's a good review. And if you forget it, or if you need to practice for the quiz, you can come back to page 23 in your ebook and you can do this again. Okay, so again, when you get your textbook, okay, you can study this as many times as you want on your own in the ebook. Okay, it's going to be kind of fun and very helpful. Okay, let's go down to talk about your regular diet. All right, for self-practice 2, there's not a whole lot of writing. We'll make it into a writing exercise. It just says complete the questionnaire about your food routine. Okay, so again, this builds on the language we looked at last week with the adverbs of frequency. What do you usually have for breakfast? You can simply write the word in here. If you have rice and soup or cereal and fruit, you can just simply write the answer in here. So those are what questions for the food. How often do you do these activities? How often do you eat, go, cook? How often do you eat at restaurants? Okay, whether they're fancy or small. How often do you go grocery shopping? How often do you grocery shop? How often do you cook meals for friends? So you might cook a meal for yourself, but what about for your friends? How often do you cook meals for friends? Okay. And you can use any adverb of frequency or adverbial phrase that you want. Do you eat some fruit every day? Okay. That could be one piece of fruit or lots of fruit. Okay. Do you have snacks at night? Okay, so maybe after you have supper or your evening meal, do you eat some more? Or do you like fresh vegetables? Okay. Maybe you like cooked vegetables, or maybe the answer is no. Maybe you don't like vegetables. So you can answer these as you see fit. And when you're done that, we can talk about this. How many portions from each food group did you have yesterday? So how many did you eat yesterday? So the food groups, okay, we looked at categorization earlier. We looked at different examples of foods in each food group. So if you're talking about fish or chicken, beef, anything, or pork, you can put that down as a portion of meat. For dairy foods, again, we're talking about something made from milk. So how many portions, how many pieces, how many times did you have something that was made from dairy? How many times yesterday did you have something made from grains? So if you had a sandwich or toast, or maybe you had some beans or some lentils. Okay. And fruit and vegetables. How many times did you eat fruit or vegetables yesterday? Okay. So again, how many portions, how many times, how many pieces did you eat yesterday? And the final question, maybe answer this one in a complete sentence. Are your eating habits healthy? Yes or no? Okay. All right, you can do that on your own. We'll do a quick review when you return. All right. Was that easy? Difficult? We're going to go to the, we're going to review this by looking at someone else's example answers. Okay. So part of your regular diet, I'll have to try this again. I'm going to take a timeout here. Okay, we're going to look at Minsu and his questionnaire. So Minsu filled out the questionnaire at the same time you did. Okay. He wrote very simple 1 or 2 word answers, and he talked about the portions that he had here. So a lot of grain food, no vegetables, a bit of meat. Okay. And he answered the yes or no question. No. All right. So we're going to try this out. We're going to talk about his answers. We're talking about his eating lifestyle here. So we're going to fill out, we're going to look at the question he filled out and answer these 4 questions, numbers 1 through 4. Number 1, what does Minsu usually have for breakfast? Okay, so that's answered right away here. What do you usually have for breakfast? Rice and soup. Okay. So we're going to type this in. He usually has rice and soup. Okay. Okay, I'll have to redo it. So I must have made a mistake. I think I left out some information. Good. So he usually has rice and soup for breakfast, right? So it says here, then answer the question in full sentences. Okay, so we're just going to repeat the answer given here. Number 2, how often does he cook meals for friends? We're talking about Minsu. How often do you cook meals for friends? What was his answer? Rarely. So he, Minsu is a man, he rarely cooks meals for friends. How often does he cook meals for friends? He rarely cooks meals for friends. So we get the adverb of frequency right here before the verb. Okay, so that's reason. Good. Number 3, does he like fresh vegetables? Okay, that answer is down here in the third portion. Do you like fresh vegetables? No. The answer, does he like fresh vegetables? No. No, he doesn't like fresh vegetables. Good. Number 4, does he think his eating habits healthy? Okay, so sometimes your textbook makes a few typos, and so we're maybe right about here. You can add another word that should be here. Let's use my penmanship. Okay, so I think his eating habits are healthy. I think his eating habits are not healthy. Okay, but what does Minsu think? Does Minsu think his eating habits are healthy? The answer? No. Okay, so we know that from here. No. No, he doesn't. So does he? No, he doesn't. Does he? No, he doesn't. Good. All right, so you can just observe that. This is a questionnaire. You can make observations about your own questionnaire and think about your own eating lifestyle. Okay. All right, let's go back to the book. We're going to continue on at page 24. On page 24, we have another information gap activity. You and a partner can do this, and it works better with another partner. You could do it on your own, and that should help you with the activity. I might try it a bit on my own right here, but you can do it with a partner. One partner should, as it says here at the top, one of you should go to page 101. Okay, and what you have there is you'll find a larder, much like this one here, and it has, I guess this is a refrigerator, and it has different kinds of food in it, and you have to figure out, you and your partner are going to figure out if you have enough ingredients for making banana pancakes. Okay, so to make banana pancakes, you need 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 eggs, 2 cups of milk, and 4 bananas. Okay. Looks like a lot of milk. All right. Okay. So what you're going to do, student B, is you're going to ask these questions to student A. Like, how much flour do we have? Now we know the answer is we have 1 cup of flour. Okay. How much flour do we have? 1 cup of flour. How much do you need? 2 cups of flour. The difference? 1 cup of flour. Okay. Or some flour. I don't think you can buy flour by 1 cup. Okay. Good. Another question you might ask student A, how many eggs do we have? Okay. Student A is going to say, we have 1 egg. 1 egg, how many eggs do you need? 2 eggs. Okay. So down here you can write one egg or some eggs. Okay, it's your choice. So ask how much or how many questions about these objects or these ingredients, and student A will answer the questions from page 101. Okay. You and a partner can do that, and then we'll review it in a second. Okay, so now that you've finished that first activity, I guess student B, you ask questions, how much and how many questions about these ingredients. Now we did flour and eggs, but I guess you asked how much sugar do we have? How much baking powder do we have? How much milk do we have? And how many bananas do we have? Okay, so those would have been the questions. Your partner on page 101 would have answered those questions much like this. We have 2 bananas, we have 1 egg, we have no baking powder, and we have 4 pounds of sugar, looks like. Okay. So those would be the answers there. So student B, when you hear those answers, you're going to have to figure out that, okay, you're going to need 2 bananas or some bananas. So you need 2 bananas or some bananas. You're going to need some milk. You're going to need some baking powder. It sounds like you got enough sugar, so you don't need to buy sugar. But your shopping list will be flour, eggs, baking powder, milk, and bananas. Okay. All right, so that's the recipe for baking, for making banana pancakes. Your partner can figure out if you have the ingredients for that. Now you can reverse roles and you can talk about burritos. Okay, I'll let you do that one on your own and see how you do. But I think now you've seen how to do that. You can find out the information just by talking with your partner. Again, one of you is on page 101 and the other one is here on page 24, figuring that out. Okay. All right. Good luck with that, and I may or may not see you next week. Okay.